exactly.
And then we're just gonna fucking
Yeah, like what I was why is my computer wanting to be slow right now? I don't know where. Every time if I like close my computer and then I start a new like start Brave again and it like opens up old windows, I feel like they always are slower for the first little bit. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I want this low to get taken right here.
Sick.
Okay, I'm literally about to just open a new window because this is not working. I'm about to I was building a PC the other night on NZXT.
We're gonna sell off heavy.
I
The
hope.
Dallas came in negative.
I'm
Watch.
yeah, because really right here I don't know, I guess maybe it's just my computer because everything's slow. But right here, I wanted this low to get taken. We do have some like it's mitigated on the 15-minute, but I'm sure there's something lower that's unmitigated down in this
Mm-hmm.
candle. But I mean, really, Mang actually pointed this out to me. This 4-hour imbalance right here looks nice with this low, that clean low that almost cleared it.
Yep.
I overall though, like I know we just filled the gap, and if we get like another like if we close red today, like it don't make a higher high than we've made, and then we close red again tomorrow, I'll be looking for like probably like way down here, like previous monthly lows and previous weekly lows.
I
But
think we might have 3 days of red.
if we have that, then I'm looking for well, it's the thing is too, we have the only thing is with the interest rates. I mean earnings too, but I'm more concerned with the interest rates than anything right now. But
Yeah, I feel like they're priced in already
I do
this
too.
time around.
But the only thing is, if for some, somehow, some way, we do start to rally, I mean, with SPY, these daily levels that I marked, like this daily order block right here, just the biggest
Mm-hmm.
candle, and then we have buy side liquidity at these highs, and then clean ass equal highs up here. So it's like, I mean, that's crazy. That's way off. But I mean, the only thing is too, on the weekly, we went up into premium of this fair value gap and this weekly order block. So I don't think that, it's a requirement or likely necessarily for us to go up here, but that's all depends on um, a lot of these earnings reports and stuff of that nature. All I'm watching this week are these pairs. Like I was watching too many pairs again. Um, Bitcoin, I think at this point. Oh wow, I hadn't even looked at Bitcoin this morning. Yeah, Bitcoin looks horrible. At this point where we're at here, I mean, I'm gonna start probably just looking for shorts instead of trying to catch any longs up to this imbalance because the weekly imbalance, I think we bounced right off of EQ, like right off of it. Yeah, so Bitcoin's looking
Mm-hmm.
super, super rough. At this point, I'm targeting these. I'm going to build my trade ideas targeting this 18,780
Mm-hmm.
and also 2764. These are like the two next targets for me because we just cleared the previous week's like the body's equilibrium. So that would lead me to believe that, especially this week, early in the week, that we're drawing the liquidity under that. Also, if you look, I mean, we pushed hard. So price is reaching for something, and there's literally nothing except these relatively equal lows and then these relatively equal lows. So, and that's also the previous weekly low. So at this point, I'm just going to be looking to, I wanted to short off of this zone right here, this little flip zone. Last night I was literally watching this and could have taken it, but I was kind of just forward testing. This
Mm-hmm.
was there was a liquidity raid right here, and then um, we had a breaker block entry. But what I was watching for, I didn't plot this until after it happened, but I was watching for it to come back into this candle or to the 5-minute candles, but it didn't. And I was like, man, what did it react off of? But it's super clear now that breaker block is what it came off of, and it came right. It didn't go past equilibrium of it either, went right off of it. So that was the snipe entry, but it's all right. We came down here, and then really at this point, I'm just looking to enter on any fair value gap on the way down. But I'm kind of mixing some supply and demand, looking at where price came into this demand right here, and then the demand failed. This is really my Pico area right now for Bitcoin is 22,539.3. That's where I want to be a seller at, as long as price, But it's weird because we still have some imbalances to the upside. All this we can go fill up all this if SPY has like a really bullish day, I think, or really NAS. I've noticed that Bitcoin moves more with NAS. Oh yeah, this was clean. I didn't even watch this morning. I don't know why I was watching SPY instead. Look at that candle shelf off the daily order book too. Yeah, NAS looks ready to go. 11,352. If we get under it's 12, like 12,200, I'll be looking for like 11,350. And really lower, but that'd be like the next target. Fair value gap smacked. So really, it looks like I like this zone right here too. Like this whole zone right there.
I quoted you this morning, just like 5-10 minutes ago.
Let me see. Hold on.
I was telling somebody, I was like, bro, if you can't see the liquidity, you are the
Oh
liquidity.
yeah, literally, bro.
Hedges when you're on the right side of the market. I'm like, I don't hedge on my FTMO like that. I don't know.
Bro, I mean, hedges are cool if you're in like a long swing. Like, say if you're up, but other than that, I feel like it's just like a psychological trap, bro.
It is.
It literally just causes you to like reverse your bias, and then you go with the wrong bias. Like this literally happened to me like last week, not with hedging, but reversing my bias. Like, and I was like in a trade, it was up, and then I sold the trade that was up and took a trade in the opposite direction because it gave the setup. And it was logical. But then it literally just got stopped, and I was like, "Nice, good job."
Yeah, like right now, options are getting clapped because the volatility in the market at the beginning of the day was like through the fucking roof. So people are buying puts and calls, and then your premium isn't moving. Like you're risking 300. There's a trade right now. You're risking $380 a contract, and it only went up $15, and that was your TP.
Yeah, that's no fun. No
So
fun at all.
it's kind of fucking with people right now.
What's ETH doing? Yeah, ETH went for all this. I took a trade last night, and it stopped me, and then completely went in the direction I wanted. It's honestly one thing I will say with crypto on the weekends is like it's ruthless, dude. Like
It
literally,
is.
it's
I
really
got wicked
ruthless.
out like 5 times, but it was like small stops, but I got like literally wicked out. And granted I made my money back and made profits, but that shit was crazy. It has me doubting my life.
Yeah, I was actually talking to somebody that I know pretty well that they're like they've been an ICT student since like 2017, and they're like super down that rabbit hole. But they were basically, I was just talking. I was like, "What do you think?" He's like, "I just think that trading crypto is like the biggest waste of talent you could ever have." I was like, "Damn." I was like, "That's like a dark way to put it," but I mean, like, I don't know. I
They ain't
mean,
wrong.
he's not wrong. I'll never not trade crypto, but I mean, just being honest, like it's cool to swing and like, but like trying to day trade it whenever you have access to stuff like the S&P and the Nasdaq, it's like why?
Mhm.
Oh, this is another setup I'm watching coming this week, the USD CAD. So like
Mhm.
originally I wanted, because like looking at the monthly PD array, you have this monthly order block here, and then the next candle with that low that doesn't touch this candle's high is all the way up here. So I wanted to kind of ping pong between like this range right there, those two lines I just drew. But
Mhm.
and then if you look also on this monthly order block, if we go, I think it was a daily actually. Yeah, there was a daily order block that formed like right here. But this one, I was looking at both of this candle and this candle. So this candle, I mean, we did get a reaction off of it, but for me, like since we took this low right there, like that tells me it wants lower, and it's just engineering liquidity at these lows. So I want
Mhm.
to, if I can get a retrace up to like, I mean, especially this daily order block. Actually, I meant to put this in the body. If I can get a retrace up to there, I'll look for shorts. And I don't even usually trade this pair, but um, one thing I've
It's
been
a good
trying to do
it's a good one.
recently too is like watch the calendar, and then like I'm literally, because people don't want to play like high volume or like play news events, but I've been doing some back testing. I mean, literally, dude, if you just play lick raids, like you can play like I almost want to start watching around for high impact news. Like last week, look at this. This one's got me big sad. I put this on Twitter and everything. I didn't. Hopefully, somebody capitalize off of it. Where was it? I don't think it's this one. Yeah. Um, I'm still gonna, if it comes up to where I want it to, but like, so there
It
was
should come back up.
yeah, there was interest rates on the euro. This was when that happened, that big pump. But like,
Mhm.
price came into this, right? And then got a nice um, liquidity rate. So we came up into that. And you got your, I guess I'd say, really this was your break of structure, I think, was right over here. And then I waited, I was like, okay, well, I was watching, I think, this candle and that candle up there. And I waited. No, it was this candle up here. It was the top one. So I waited and was like, okay, when price comes up here, I'm gonna watch for confirmation. And it rated it, which I expected because this was when the interest rate came out. It was 8:30 a.m. And
Mhm.
it literally just dumped, and I was like, oh hell yeah, there's my confirmation entry. And then it just didn't. It just did, and it already cleared two of the TPs that I wanted it to hit, which you know.
Jeez. Like right now, bro, this green candle on the S&P just fucked all the shorts up in the stock market. Like holy shit.
Oh yeah, this is actually
Everybody just
given.
got fucked.
I mean, I'm not sure if I'm gonna aggro this, but I mean, because we did run.
Oh no, I'm waiting.
Yeah, we
Fuck
did run
that.
two lows,
You're
but we still
good.
have this main low
Yeah. I would
to
wait for
run.
that low to get taken out
Yeah. I mean,
for
I could
sure.
see it go from here, to be dead honest. I definitely could, but I'm not gonna. I just don't like it whenever all that, because I've seen that happen. Like you'll get the setup, like the model,
Mhm.
and it'll give you, what it happens is it'll move like, it'll do like an EQ tap of like the impulse move if there's like a POI
Mhm.
around there, like maybe this block right here or something. I don't know. Might go farther, but sometimes it'll go into that and then come down and take the low. But I mean, it's giving
Mm.
the lick rate entry, because if you look, it's like
Yeah, could have turtle soup long that bitch. 20
exactly.
pips.
Is that
How many pips is that?
um honestly, for this, I don't use that. I just use like the low, dude, because if it, like if this comes back under this low and comes under this,
Mhm.
you're gonna see like it's gonna, for a second, it's gonna bleed. For it, like 20 pips is gonna get probably hit. Well, depending on your broker, I guess, because a lot of brokers it's just 1 to 1 because the contract size is 1 to 1, so it'll be just like a
Yep.
dollar is a pip, I guess, or well, no, be like $10 is a pip if you're going by. But I mean, really, the pips, like the PNL is always gauged off of like 100,000 contract size because it's currencies.
Mhm.
Um, and also when I'm using this, I try to use like more like naked eye market structure, because like technically, you could have said, oh, right here was a break of structure because this candle, failed to take the previous candle's low, and that would be like the internal way to do it. But for me, I'm just kind of like watching more like what one would perceive, I guess, as like a naked eye confirmation, which would be like this right here. You broke it with displacement. So like that would be where you would take it. But for me, because your stop loss, let's just say you took it there, stop loss is going to be right above like equal or right at equal lows. So for me, it's just like no. And then your take profit, I mean, it's just not there for me personally. That's one thing with the lick rates, or maybe if you move it down, you could say, okay, well then we have a 3 to 1. Then it's like theoretically would be acceptable, but um, I'm just gonna chill on it while we have this while we have these equal lows down below. I want to get into some Bitcoin trades. I'm just been wanting to. I haven't traded crypto as much recently, but it's just like this shit is just in its own world right now. I do like that zone up there because now Bitcoin, we went straight for the previous week's equilibrium. We got a nice little reaction off of it, but that tells me that this week might want to reach lower. Also, again, that weekly imbalance hit EQ on the dot. We saw price pushed away from it pretty rough. So, if we looking at the daily, it wants this down here. I could see some redistribution type action going up into this area up here. But this is really the next place I would be interested in Bitcoin. Ethereum. Look at Ethereum. This actually looks a little bit more plausible. I don't know though. I think that Ethereum still has some more upside. Because theoretically you did get your change of character right there, if you count this, but this to me looks like just a fat ass liquidity raid, so I wouldn't really call it a break of structure. That would lead us needing to come down under this still for me. I saw someone in Forex chat caught this move. My brain's just not trained to watch gold. I don't know why. Like I charted it out for the week. I honestly want gold to come higher this week. I wanted to come into this fair value gap here. That seems like what it's drawing towards. Actually, I want because if we draw a line on that daily order block, that comes right into this fair value gap. I believe this. There might be a buying opportunity here, but we'll see how that plays out. What's the S&P doing? It's almost 11 o'clock. And what's up, Adaliki? I just now saw that comment. You been eating any Wagyu?
Absolutely. I'm actually gonna cook one up today.
I've been on that pescatarian life for like a week now.
Yeah, last night I had a bunch of tuna.
Oh,
It's
hell
pretty
yeah.
good. I'm gonna start a cooking YouTube.
Oh, that's actually pretty smart because you do cook a lot, and those do
Yeah.
well. That's what I always tell people, bro. Like, if you do anything that you enjoy, like, and you're cool with, like, comfortable with, like, video
Bro,
and shit, just put it on. Like, you never know, that shit could pop off.
have you seen Timmy cooking?
Um,
And if
Hercules.
you look at Timmy, Tin Man.
Oh. I was like
Yeah,
Hercules. I was like, he don't cook.
Timmy. I've been
Where's
teaching him how
Hercules
to
at?
cook. He didn't. He told me that he's only had like scrambled eggs in his life,
Oh
bro.
my
I taught him how to
god.
make like different variations of eggs. Like I taught him how to make banana nut bread, like the best banana nut bread you can make. Like
I remember when I watched that Gordon Ramsay like how to cook eggs. I thought I was like the egg chef, bro.
yeah, I taught him how to cook eggs Japanese style. It's crazy.
What's that? What's
But
Japanese style eggs?
you know how they I don't know if you've ever seen how they lay the have a bed of rice and then they cut
Oh
it in
yeah,
half and
yeah.
then all the eggs like spill out. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, no, I have seen that.
Yeah, it comes out super fluffy. It's crazy. I'll be right back. I'm gonna make some coffee. I haven't had coffee this morning.
Where was the midnight open at? Did react nice to that midnight open candle. That's another strategy I've been using for indices. If you go to the 1 hour and find just like the midnight candle, if it's an order block, oftentimes you can watch that zone for a potential reversal, just a level. It's not something to like trade off of it. You can see we did get somewhat of a reaction off of it. They're not like pinpoint snipe levels, but you can use them in confluence with other stuff. So like see how it runs right into this fair value gap. Um, that's interesting. I'm not sure exactly what I would make of that. It's not like, oh, okay. But a lot of times you can find that algorithmic footprint if you look hard enough and just study stuff. Like, I'm always trying to learn more about how price delivery works. So I always just mark stuff up, even though I'm not going to use a trade, and see how it reacts to that midnight level. So we did just get that break of structure and I guess technically the break of structure should be up here for like a supply and demand perspective right there. But me, whenever I'm playing these uh, liquidity raid models, I'll look for just a break of the most recent high. Overall, from this point of market structure, like internally, we look like this broke structure right there. If you count that, this was a lick raid, but we kind of broke structure there, came down, price came back up into a POI and a fair value gap. Here's the 1 hour POI, came into that fair value gap. We saw the 15-minute change of character. This is kind of what I framed my morning trade off of. 15-minute change of character. Price immediately went back into this newly introduced supply. The 5-minute was bearish already, like the internal structure was bearish. So I just went straight to a 1-minute. And as soon as I got this right here, I just marketed. I ended up getting into like 30, I think it was like month 39.79.3 and 39.78.5 because it was moving. That's the only downside about we have to open over 100 lots using the funded, but um, yeah, and for me, I could have used a tighter stop, honestly, but I I just use the stop up here. Kind of wish I'd used a tighter stop, but it's all right. That's just kind of to recap this morning's trade. Now, I know that everybody's, what does it say? Oh, mad bluefin tuna. What is he, like fish? Let me see. Okay, it's already on NOS. Dude, trading. I don't know what I have to do. If somebody knows, put in the comments. How do you get TradingView to just like actually mirror your drawings? I just don't understand. Like, I don't want to have 3 charts open for it to mirror my levels across multiple charts. I just don't understand it. I really don't. What I'm doing right now is trying to see if I can see any kind of smart money divergence between the 3 indices. If you could see, like, for instance, it's actually a really good example. So right here, we're seeing lower lows in both the NASDAQ and the S&P, but we're seeing higher low here. Now, ideally, what we want to see is a higher high. We haven't seen that. This is kind of the beginning of it. Now, if you would have seen, let's just say you saw 2 lower lows and lower highs on the NASDAQ and the S&P, and then you saw a higher high on the US 30, that would possibly indicate, accompanied with other analysis, that the US 30 was being distributed, because you want to see a confluence of movement between all 3 indices. So that's something you can use. We went over that in the private class as well. Um, the It's similar to when you use the dollar index with currencies, like foreign currencies. Yeah, these are the main setups I'm watching going this week. Nasdaq and SPY, especially all these earnings reports for the SPY or for the S&P. I think there's over 70% of companies indexed on the S&P 500 or they have earnings reports this week. We also have interest rates this week, so it's going to be super, super volatile. Um, just overall, really crazy week with news. So gold always is going to move crazy on these weeks with on these news weeks. Really, for me, with gold, what I want to see is price. If we can hold above the mean threshold of this order block right here, the equilibrium of the body of this candle, I'm going to probably look for this fair value gap here as to frame trades around intraday. I mean, I know we have these weekly lows right here, but we've seen gold always reacts pretty crazy once it gets down to this level. I could see us pushing back up, kind of cleaning out some of this liquidity and then pushing down. Um, that's kind of where I sit with gold, but I think it's still developing. I think somebody in the Discord actually caught a short off of this. Let me find it so you guys on YouTube can see. Where is it? Yeah, it's like we have literally people all the time are just killing shit on their own. Like, feels good to finally hit something again. Thanks for seeing your charts. I didn't even take the trade, but um, one of the other analysts here in Flow and I we've been chatting about gold, and somebody else capitalized off of this move. So that's always nice to see people just making money on their own. Let's see what she's doing. I'm interested to see for science purpose of science how we react here, because it looks like this midnight candle is pushing right through like the mean threshold of this fair value gap there on a 1 minute. Maybe it's going to be right in the middle on a 2 minute. Let's see. Oh, no, it's still a little bit around it. Sometimes I kind of just play around with the different time frames and see, what fair value gap looks the cleanest. Like, for instance, this one, the 5 minutes, actually pretty clean. But again, personally, I don't ever trade if there's this much liquidity right under us. And I also could see this turning into a 3 drive. So, um, and this isn't my theory, this is an ICT theory, but usually each accumulation phase has 3 drives when you're coming into an area of sell side liquidity. So, it might react to a fair value gap, the early support, the preliminary support for Wyckoff people, and then it comes down and gets that spring into the final stop hunt for me, which would be this low right here. It seems like we cleared out everything but that low. It's not required, but it is something to keep in mind whenever you're looking at price action intraday. This is where we started to see displacement after coming in and filling this old imbalance. I think it was like a 15-minute or something. Yeah, this 15-minute imbalance right here. We came down, saw that break of structure. That told us that smart money was cleaning up those orders that were left behind, just to push back up and mitigate into that 1-hour POI. Overall, structure is not looking too bullish. On a 15-minute, the 1 minute here is showing some signs of strength after we rated that low, but it's always for me, it's hard to long into stuff that has equal lows right below. But I definitely see the setup. I definitely see it. This 4-hour internal structure would lead me to target this low right here. So, but I have, and I've noted this with you guys too. I usually look at things more from a perspective of liquidity than supply and demand. I mean, I definitely use supply and demand to trade indices, but usually it's seeking liquidity because we have a lot of institutions trading these markets, the futures markets. So you're going to see price really seek out liquidity to fill those big orders. And a lot of times you can kind of tell which liquidity we're seeking within the first 15 minutes. Like, literally, if you go back and back test this, if you put a line on your chart at 9:30 a.m., within the first 15 minutes, you can tell what liquidity we're seeking. Today was kind of weird. It was already obvious before that we as soon as 9:30 opened, we pushed down. We were seeking that sell side, induced the early longs, came out and cleared them again, and then we saw that displacement here. That's what you want to see if you are looking to go long. Is you want to see a price push under those lows, which we got right here, and then you want to see a break of structure, shifting to a opposing narrative than what the liquidity raid was directed at, and then from there, that's where you want to see that displacement return into this fair value gap, and then that's where one would long. One thing I've been kind of back testing a little bit, mainly just forward testing, is using the 15-second to confirm some of these fair value gaps. Just like you confirm a 1 minute POI. Now, personally, I never recommend using a stop loss based off of such a low time frame, but you can use it if you're looking at a zone like curious, is this zone going to hit or is it not? You can kind of use that as a I guess kind of like an extra confluence. What's DXY doing? This is something else I wanted to point out. Really, the only level that is interesting me with the DXY is down this daily imbalance here. I think that we're gonna see a push into that, whether it goes all the way down, but somewhere into this, which would lead to a short-term bullish narrative for um, currencies. You know, obviously it matters with all markets that are denominated by the dollar, but I've seen quite a few times where the DXY is moving in the same direction as indices lately. Like, let's just see. Um,
Casper, you think we come up to the order block on a 15-minute on the S&P 500 for another sell, the morning high,
let me see up here.
where we have those equal highs right there on the 15-minute? Well, I don't know if it
Oh,
looks like that on the XPS 500, but it looks like that on the futures contract.
I mean, right here where we're at, it's starting to give that buy signal. Um, I mean, I see what you're talking about up here, like this area. It's potential. I would definitely use a
Yeah.
confirmation entry for sure. Because I mean, also like when I was with DXY, that daily imbalance is kind of lurking um, down here, and if we start to pull towards that, that could push these markets to the upside. Also, the S&P seems to be reacting nicely to whatever fair value gap. It really didn't touch the 2 or 3 minute. I think it went to the 5 minute though. It seems to be reacting nicely so far. Um, I think it's going to go a little lower though. Ideally, what I would really like to see is one last push under that 15-minute low, and that would give us a
Hmm.
potential 3 drive right here.
Yep.
That's what I would, and then I would long it up into that area that you're talking about, and that would be donezo for me if we got that all today, which I don't know if we will or not. It's already 11.
Yeah, I think we could definitely, bro. It's just clearing premium from options like expeditiously.
Yeah, it's this is some I wouldn't. I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna forward test this because it's also that midnight
Hmm.
open candle. If you go in the 1 hour and you just find like the New York midnight candle
Yep.
and draw like if it's an order block or find the closest order block to it, it's not something to, like trade off of, but like for instance, you can see that
You just
price is
have it on there
reacting
to
to it.
watch
Yeah, I've been kind of just studying it.
reactions.
So like in this example, you can see price kind of starts to react to it. It's just like a potential area, and I mean if we look at a 5 minute. and you can't really see any. It's like, okay, what does that mean? But the 1 minute, you can see it's somewhat reacting to it a little bit, nothing crazy. And then it's also
Mhm.
almost an EQ of this fair value gap. So I'm just interested in it. I'm not gonna. I haven't used it enough to like frame any kind of trades off of it ever, but it's a newer um, concept that I've kind of been exploring. Like on, I think I drew it out really far on, or no, this is not it. On
Bonds are
CAD,
pulling back up right now. So
what is it?
bonds
Oh,
are pulling back up a little bit.
oh, bonds.
Yeah.
Also, I need to see where the session liquidity is on some of these indices. Yeah, because we removed Tokyo, all that Tokyo liquidity too on Nasdaq, and that was what we were responding to on the S&P.
But yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, those sells this morning were good as fuck.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad I took them. It was before time, but I was like, one thing I've learned is if you're playing like liquidity rates, it's different. Like you want to make sure like the time efficiency is there. But if I see what I need from a supply and demand perspective, I've learned just take it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like literally, if it's
Mhm.
I mean, because there's been so many times where I've been watching like indices like an Asia session, and I'll see a setup that I'm like, okay, that's good, but it's Asia, and like if it's a scalp, like I'm gonna just take it. Like if it's giving you what you need, you know what I mean? Um, just fucking take it. But if it's liquidity rates, I try not to play those unless they are in session.
Mm. Have you ever tried doing the 20 pip down from the liquidity rate?
I haven't personally, but I mean, I'm sure it could probably
Because
work.
I know you know what I'm talking about. The
Yeah. It's like you
20 to
just
50 pip long under the
I think that like I mean, I don't know. It's just maybe I'm a little biased because that's like against what my style would be. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but it's hard to me to make myself do shit like that. To be honest, it's like fuck it long like 20 like isn't that I think that's technically the turtle soup model, but um
Yeah, it is. He just says that he goes like he finds the low that you think is going to get liquidated, rated, and then he just does 20 pips under the low, the wick low.
hmm
He says 20 to 30 pips under, and then with a 20 pip stop for a total of 50 pips, and your risk is 20 pips. And so tested it on like certain things, and it kind of works, but I don't know if I want to risk 20 pips if
that's
I
what
could
I'm
just wait
saying.
till
I mean,
after.
like if I'm trading certain pairs, that's like almost normal, like GJ or something. But um, I don't know. Yeah, it's just weird
Oh, and
for
our
me.
Dallas Fed numbers came back negative again, so that was pretty bad. Now we just gotta wait for the GDP to come back negative again, and then yeah. And coffee's going up in price, which is really fucking disturbing. Just so you know,
Dude, honestly, I've thought about trading some of the commodity markets recently, but but you can like I was
bro.
looking at
Coffee
the orange
futures are
juice.
up $2, bro.
Like I
It's
like the
fucking,
orange juice. Mine are delayed. I don't have indice data. I need to get it. But like dude, this shit trades crazy, bro. Like crazy. If you were to trade daily supply and demand, like okay, well, there's your internal break of structure there. You could have just used this entire area up to the high. Like I was back testing orange juice because Glacier said something about orange juice futures, and I was like, bro, you could have made a fucking bag off this shit, bro. Literally, like if you were playing fair value gaps, because you would have been or right here, that would have been like your change of character, and you could have either waited for up here or just waited for the fair value gap and waited for this 15-minute confirmation. Why is this just showing London session only? It's weird. I guess it's only open certain hours or something. Yeah, but it still shouldn't be London though. I don't know. But if you just use a 15-minute confirmation and just shorted, like if you're like swinging something, bro, you would have gotten paid off that shit, bro. Because you could have used this would have been a clear stop, and then just rode that shit. Like If you're using the daily, it would have been all the way down to like here, this weak low down here, and it would have been so clean. Oh, it
Oh,
looks like
nice.
S&P by my P&L is doing that thing again. It's in that now. It's in this zone.
Yeah, it's in there. I didn't know where I could have caught a sell on there because I closed out my position on that wick. That's how it's like done.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm still 60% of the position in, or I guess
Damn, now I feel like I should
66.
have gotten those options contracts. FOMO, 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 FOMO. Damn, they went up like that. Oh, that's a different one. Never mind. They're only at $40. Risk $520 to make $40. How's that sound, Casper?
Right? Fuck.
It should go. It should accelerate right now. The whole market's selling off.
Yeah,
That's great.
I want these lows down here. Because I just don't see, like, if these lows weren't here, like say if we pipped this low and then got this, I would have longed that. But since we didn't, that just tells me this is kind of inducing those early longs.
Yep. Oh shit! There it goes.
Come on. Yeah, like with the S&P too, it's really easy if you're playing like some of these liquidity concepts. It's easy to switch your, like you can psych yourself out because like you'll see it's like here it's like, oh, right at Tokyo lows, you can rationalize shit. Like I reread well, I'm still in the process of rereading it, but Trading in the Zone, and I haven't read that in a really long time. Like um really the last time I read it, I was trading a lot, but I wasn't really like, this wasn't my full-time focus of like all my energy. And I read it again and I was like, damn, that shit, it hits, bro. It really, because like it just goes into so much shit that like now as a more professional trader, it means it hits differently, if that makes sense. Especially like when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing um trying to go like the fund, because the funded psychology is different, bro. That's a different, it's a different
It's a whole
monster.
different beast, bro.
Yeah, bro. Than trading with your, like I used to just DJ like crypto futures and shit, but it's like there's like a, as a trader, there's like a pride. Like I don't want to call it a pride. I mean that just being real though, it is like, it's like, bitch, I ain't feeling no fun. I'm getting my fun. I'm gonna get 3 fun. You know what I mean? Which is dumb, but it's there, and as long as you're aware of it, you can, mitigate that pretty easily. But it brings back, I guess, what it does, or what it will do, if you're not careful, is
Hmm.
it brings back that fear of being wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
Yep.
like it's that whenever I started actually being consistent, like I used to just be like a, like when I got from the point from where I was like not profitable to like, okay, I'm making money. It was always like pump and dump. Like I would make a shitload of money, when I was starting, when I finally, this was like really like when I first started trading leverage heavy. It's like I would make a shitload of money and then I would like lose a shitload. Like I'd still be in the positive, but it wasn't like, it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I realized like literally the main thing that was like the culprit of that was usually the fear of leaving money on the table after you've made a bunch. Or just one of
Hmm.
the trading fears is like the four fatal fears, which is like fear of missing out, fear of being wrong, fear of losing money, and then fear of leaving money on the table. But as soon as you completely just like detach from all that shit, bro, it's because people, like I was talking to somebody that they're like, oh, I read part of that book, but like I don't understand how that's really gonna help you. It doesn't even go anything about the technicals. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, did you
Then
even
you're
read like the
obviously not
first?
getting the point.
I know. I'm like, that's literally the point, bro. Like, did you even read the fucking book? Like, they probably read like the preface. We're like, yeah, no charts. Fuck this.
Damn.
I didn't know that. Actually, let me look it up because somebody told me he was dead. I didn't know that. R.I.P. So
Ooh.
Mark Douglas. Somebody told me that. They're like, he's dead now.
Damn.
Oh, he did. Damn, I didn't know that. I knew because he told me, but because I was like, damn, it'd be crazy to go to like a. Because I was watching the videos on YouTube he had where he had like a seminar where like there you can watch
Mm.
those, and then he He died 2015. R.I.P. to a legitimate goat. His bio on Google. So the last bit says he lives in Great Falls with his parents, brother Jack, his dog, and Sabrine, which I guess his wife says. Ironically, he also kind of hates sports. That's just like the closing thing. Yeah, see, this pushed super hard into that imbalance. It's filled all imbalances now, which I wouldn't say that it's just down for the count, but you'd want to see really a reaction above this, because that was another thing with this trade for me. Is the strategy that I use is take a fib from the impulse move of the morning, which to me would just be this whole move, and then you want to target some kind of POI and a premium. Really, on like a 5 minute, I mean, there's nothing that's not mitigated except maybe just like this high here. So it was like, that would be your first TP. If you're gonna long, let's just say you long from the top of the thing, it's like, what? That's just not it. Just simply not it. But it's still interesting to see how price reacts, because when using these liquidity concepts, you can see a trade opportunity unfold, but like a big thing with them is it may not. It's just not a trade you want to take. Like, but it's still educational to watch and see how stuff reacts, and just kind of learn from it. 'Cause there's always something to be gained, whether it's money or a lesson or just data,
I feel
really.
that.
You know what I mean? So that's how I know I'm a price action junkie. I just can like watch charts, and it's like like not even um, for any monetary reason. I would need to meet with Frizz. Is Frizz? I was supposed to. We were gonna get on a call, and I'm trying to help him get this indicator done for internal structure. That shit
Oh,
would
he's
be.
still working on it from Photon,
Yeah,
the internal one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that shit would be.
Yeah, I told Flo and a couple guys that he was working on it. I told Flo and JL, and they were like, "No, it's not gonna work." I'm like, "Bro, you just don't. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's not that
Mm,
difficult for that
I mean,
indicator to
it
pop
definitely
up."
will work. I mean, here's the thing, like, because I was talking to. It's funny you said that. 'Cause I was talking to somebody in a Twitter space yesterday, and somebody asked, "What do you think about like a smart money indicator to like trade?" And they're like, "Oh, that would never work. You can't do that." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? We're literally trying to trace an algorithm. Like, what the fuck are you saying?" Like, they definitely can. Like, the principle of the matter was like maybe that certain ones wouldn't work, but if you have a if you're trying to track an algorithm and you're trying to say that you couldn't use a machine learned strategy to trade, it's just completely redundant. I mean, I'm not saying it would be easy, but it's definitely
Oh yeah,
possible.
it wouldn't be easy, but for you and I both know that
Yeah,
it's completely possible.
yeah,
Like, and
no,
that's
for
what I was
sure.
getting at with Frizz. I was like, "Yo, watch the market structure video on Photon, and if you want to help anyone, just build that. What
Yeah.
he's saying, make it mechanical. If you build that, it'll be night and day for anybody because it'll make it easier on us, and we already know what we're doing because we just flick to any chart, any time frame, and it orients us like bam. It's not that we don't know how to find our market structure. It's just that it's quicker. It makes us not waste as much time on that, and we can look for what we want to look for within the chart.
Exactly, because that would be the only way I would use it. Like, I would personally never set a bot with it, but what I would do is I would just like set it, like, you need to add an alert on it, like somehow, like if there could somehow be like, you know, like a OTO alarm system, like where like it's like your
Hmm.
POI hits, and then it looks for like the next time frame down internal break of structure. That would be like the because then it's
Ideal.
like you don't have to watch shit as much. Like, okay, it's like, oh, a 15-minute POI hit on you know Bitcoin. Now the indicator is that alert trigger another alert to be set for a break of structure in that zone, or the next break of structure or something. Yeah, that would be pretty crazy, but that would be hard to code. Frizz is pretty smart though. Like, he does it quickly too. Like, he'll just pop up with a new indicator.
Yep. I told him I asked him if he could do it for TD Ameritrade for the Thinkorswim platform, because if we do it in the Thinkorswim platform, like with this org strategy we use, you can literally buy the options from the using those levels when they trigger. If you feel that the POI is good, you could set it to do an OCO order, a conditional order, and it'll just buy and sell for you at the perfect price point. So you're not there's no slippage.
That would be
It's
fucking
fucking
dope.
nuts, bro.
This guy ICT on Twitter, he said a space. This dude's acting like
Want
he
the
didn't do this on
chocolates too?
purpose. Huh? Oh, he said a space. He said a space at 11, like literally an hour ago. Said he was gonna be on at 11, right? And then he
Mhm.
says space will be. He's late. Just tell. He ain't slick. He said space will begin at 11:30. Dealing with the Hellcat dealer. This fucking guy. Okay, that's fucking funny. That's hilarious.
Today was a good shakeout. That was really, really good.
Yeah. For me, I'm probably gonna like once we get under this low, I'll probably shave off another half of what's left, so I'll be out of the position. You know, what, 2/3, and then after that, I mean, dude, I'm probably just gonna ride the rest out until either, you know, an end of day or really this low over here. Because even if this is some kind of distribution, it looks like, I mean, we haven't really got a UTAD yet. I'm not really a Wyckoff guy, but what I
Mhm.
would say would probably be like, okay, we're down here. You know, you get that sign of weakness. You maybe come under this low or under this low. You know, you come under it, and then you see a big push.
Mhm.
That would be what I would probably see. But this would also, because Main pointed this out to me, this POI has my attention right now. This little fair value gap fill right there, and it's under
Yep.
a
I
low.
was
So
looking at
usually,
that's on the 4 hour, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a daily imbalance just under it too. Like if you look at the daily imbalance, it gets filled just under it. And then the previous week's EQ would be down there. Which the only thing is though, you want to stay above that previous week's EQ.
So if you look at
Side
that,
note.
if you look at that zone that you're looking at, that's a supply and demand flip zone that I have marked off on my chart.
Yeah, this whole thing right here.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
looking at just the I marked it off from the inside bar from the previous where your line starts.
right here.
That blue
Yep.
line right there. Yeah, no, well the previous one before that, where those wicks are. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
I have
like
the
that.
whole thing marked off to the side. It covers the two wicks on those two bars that you have where the daily imbalance is, and it stretches across the fair value gap.
Yeah. No, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I would grab the 50%. Well, what I don't like is that on the 4 hour, there's still more liquidity to the downside. So it's
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
is that POI going to work? Is it going to be lower?
like
Because there's another supply and demand flip zone down there. Like, huh.
yeah, I don't know. This week's gonna be interesting, man. Because like what I can see is like a push down into like this imbalance maybe, and then like a because if I'm looking at just a daily of SPY, like I know everybody's looking at this gap, and I am too. But like if I don't get some price showing me it wants to go lower, I'm looking for it higher, like much higher. You know what I mean? And depending on how the interest rate, like earnings and shit is definitely important for sure. Don't get me wrong, but I'm more concerned with interest rates because I don't know. I mean, if they if those interest rates are higher than which they should be, but I don't know if they'll do that just for the sole reason of
Hmm.
what would happen. I mean, we'd
If
see
you ever want
absolute
to know
carnage.
what the Fed might be pricing in for futures,
Just
you
interest
just got to
rates.
look at the Fed futures,
Yeah.
um, Fed futures, and they'll tell you what the Fed most likely will price in. So right now they're at 75%, or sorry, at
I
what's
want
it
to look
called?
at
At
this.
70 75. But there's you'll be able to see there's a chart that just charts futures for the Fed. It's called the Fed futures chart.
Yeah.
And on there, so that's what you could use in correlation. I've been using it a bit. If you see that the Fed futures is pricing in lower and it comes in higher, you can obviously, expect super volatility, but it gives you somewhat of a gauge of what the interest rates will be.
I like using these T bonds too, and these look bullish as shit right now. I haven't looked at these in a while since that stream. Since this update, because I remember we went over this. This is where we did that stream, and it was over on this level right here, and we've seen that. No, I'm sorry. It was this level over here. That candle. So we've seen that price kind of reacted off that. It's not a straightest line, but you guys get the picture. But we see price reacted, I mean, solid off this. So, yeah, I don't know, man. That's interesting because if we see this push up to the upside a lot, which that would be anticipating, as this rising, that wouldn't be too good for the markets. Like reacted nicely to that little level down there. It's filling this imbalance, but came down farther into this candle right there. A lot of times you can pair, like we talked about the other day on stream, you can pair this the liquidity rate model with supply and demand. Because, like, for instance, here would have been the 1 minute, like POI, probably a 5 minute too. Yeah, somewhere in here, right? This candle.
I just sent you a chart. It's also from investing.com, but yeah, you should check that out. It's just a Fed futures monitoring tool. So that tells you what people what the Fed is pricing in at the time. You can see it on the side too, like interest rates and all that good
God damn,
shit
if we
for
got like
different countries.
275, that'd be fucking nuclear.
Well, that's the overall target rate of increase.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm just, it's
But
like the
yeah,
lower
if they increase
probability,
it to
but
that, it's fucking nuts.
yeah, it's gonna be nuclear.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be 2.5. I really do. That's what I mean, I don't really like. That's just me speculating. I'm not gonna frame anything off of that or try in any form to capitalize. Yeah, this looks nice though. This is reacting nicely off these zones.
You know who joined Playbit again, bro? Did you see
Who? Oh,
Fancy?
I didn't see that. Really? That's funny.
Yeah.
I saw Trader Tyler was somewhere.
Yeah, he was in free chat. All these people coming out of the waterworks. Their strats aren't working anymore. They're like, I need to make money.
Yeah, literally. That's funny. Fancy. I forgot about Fancy.
And right now, shorts just got fucked as
Yeah,
far as
people that were
options
trying to
go.
short right here, I got clapped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, like this gave the setup, but for me, it just the risk to reward wasn't
No, I
there.
feel you on that. I'm not
But
doing anything on it.
yeah,
If anything, I'd short it off of the order block that's up here. That would make, not even. I wouldn't touch it. I don't know.
yeah, I'm happy with what I got this morning. So my stops are at
Yep.
entry up here, and then I'll just revisit. But yeah, that would have been a nice, nice little trade if the risk to reward would have been. Sometimes it'll give it to you because, like, for instance, in this we rated Tokyo lows, like, right? That was, I guess there was more liquidity there than there was down
Hmm.
here at this low right here. Down here, if we look at that, because, like, just from that's why sometimes these market session indicators can help a lot. But
Did you ever get the other one working?
oh, that it like turns on and off. Where is? I think I have it on, or I'm taking it off because you're talking about the smart money, like just
Yeah, that one that you found with everything on it.
yeah, it turns like off and on. So I just took it off. It was pissing me off. What is this? Why is this up here? I guess I moved this on accident. It's supposed to be right there. But yeah, it kept just like turning off and on. Also here, I mean, looking at this, we could see even a push up above because, like, if you see just like session liquidity, we got those equal highs right there. Um,
Mhm.
and that would be that inducement as far as
Yeah,
like
I
people
want
that are
those
trying
to
to
get
swing,
taken out. That way it induces those longs so we can get some shorts going.
because it'd go like right here.
Yeah, those equal highs on ES are too clean.
Too clean.
Oof.
Yeah, that's right there. What we were talking about. That was a nice little zone. If the risk reward would have been a bit better. And that's how a lot of times too. You can see the what was it? Oh yeah, you can see the intentions for the day within the first 15 minutes. Like for instance, if you're pushing violently down at open, like I think this right here was a 930 candle, usually you're gonna have movement back to the upside. Not always, but almost always you're gonna have that movement back to the upside.
Yep.
What this is telling me, if we start to really push up and we start to push into these areas and still show strength, that's going to lead me with more of a bullish bias for the week. Because if we, if this is just one down candle, like say, because we might see some power of three here. Like if we push down, we are close to the low of the day, and then we close
Mhm.
bullish. That'll just show me that the market's still in a buy program as of now, and it will lead me to be more bullish coming into the morning. And then I'll look for raids like this, and then like frame the trade around that. Also, the weekly candle. I mean, looking at the weekly candle, I mean, that we have this massive imbalance above, and we might still be drawing to that because this weekly candle is really not showing any. This was a strong close, so
Mhm.
that would maybe lead me to believe if the daily agrees that we're going to have a bullish week overall. Especially because the thing is, if those are interest rates come out on point, dude, the shit's going to fucking fly. It's going to fly. Well, I shouldn't say it's gonna. I wouldn't anticipate it to, because I think that
Euro just closed.
there's a what is it?
Euro just closed. It's closing.
Oh,
That's a volatile
yeah,
time.
London close. And so that's another thing I'm trying to let's just see because I want to study. So like I was saying before, I've been studying this like once you come to this fair value gap and come into these areas, look at the
Mhm.
15-second and look at this. Like it's every time I've back tested it, it's been clean. I would never use it for like an entry like a limit, but like if you wait till that 15-second change of character, look at that. And then you still use you don't use the stop loss there. I mean, I wouldn't, but I would just still use the low. That would have given a much better risk reward than just longing up here. So I'm still testing this. I don't want to use it with live funds yet, but there hasn't been a time yet where if the bias was correct that the long was, that was the move. There hasn't been a single time where it hasn't given a really clean 15-second confirmation. So like in this situation, I would just look at the 15-minute. I would personally just be taking to that imbalance at the most. So that's still not the risk to reward I would have needed because I need 3 or I'm not taking it. Or at least like if it's like 2.95 or 2.9, I'll take it on these kind of setups. But
Yeah, I only like taking 1 to 3 or
yeah,
more.
because like with you can get really good risk to reward and stuff, but if you're trading on a sizable account, 3 to 1 is phenomenal. Like if you're not happy with that in a day, like you're just a greedy bastard. I'm not saying I won't take more, but like I know that some people when they're new to smart money, it's like you get like you only want like 30 R, but it's like I mean, they have definitely, those setups occur, but you don't want to build that expectation. Actually, fuck, I have that in our messages. I'm gonna bookmark that. I might honestly watch for a PM entry too today. That's one thing too, like really if you just wait for like either a swing low made after 130 to get violated or a fair value gap in the same direction the morning move, you can get a nice little PM entry. I mean, it's usually not the best move, but sometimes they can be pretty nice. Like the end of what's really funny, look, if you would have taken the PM entry last week, because look at this right here. So look, there was your swing low right there. After it got violated, you'd have went to like a 1 minute. So, anytime after this line, basically after this happens. So, here would have been your first check. Now you've got an idea, and look at this. It's clean as fucking day. Look at that. You broke that fair value gap. This would have been the move. Like if you would have taken along, like let's just say right there, stop under this, you'd still be in that shit. Look at that.
Damn.
Yeah, that would have been but that was like you would have been holding it all weekend, which I mean, who cares? You got your stuff. That would have been the move. So I've seen those PM sessions smack. Like, and literally, you would have targeted. I would have targeted right here. That's where I would have been fully out that 15-minute fair value gap. But look at that. That would have been nice, huh? That's funny. I didn't even go back and reflect on this, but I noticed like at the end of last Friday, because basically after that big move happened, I just went. I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I left and did something. I can't remember, but I wasn't at the house, and I was like, damn. I came back and was back testing. I was like, that was clean as day. It was better than the entry up here, because I like them when they move like that, like where it's really quick. You raid liquidity immediately, that V-shaped recovery right back into the fair value gap, and then it's just like off to the races. Like this one up here, when we went over and streamed, this one took a while. It was like, this took like an hour or 2 hours or something to get back into that fair value gap. Let's see what it's reacting to. Oh, it's this fair value gap. It seems like there's some reaction here above that old high. I'd be surprised if that pushed us all the way down, but you never know. I think it's just seeing some supply right there. I'll look at Bitcoin before I get off here. Reacted nicely to that previous week's equilibrium. It seems like it wants to stay above that. We can't even get a 15-minute closure there. Nothing really interesting for me to long just yet. And it looks like it could be given one of these setups where we want to push up above this, or up into this fair value gap. Check on the 2-minute, because after we rated this liquidity, I mean, it's honestly giving a similar setup to SPY gave, but no fair value gaps here for to enter off of. Maybe on a 1-minute, really not even, I guess, there if you would have counted that. Equal highs up there. I don't really use this midnight candle strategy at all on Bitcoin. I'm interested in. It obviously didn't stop it from going down, but it's a bear. It would be a bearish order block anyway. So looking at it from the midnight, because obviously this isn't an order block. Don't get me wrong. People are watching like, what the fuck? But I guess if anything, it'd probably be up here. Somebody said how. Oh, you hold the shift key, Oscar. So like if I'm doing this, I hold shift and it does that. Life changing. Also, if you want to anchor, like so, like I'm doing this, that's control or command if you're on a Mac. Honestly, it's mandatory if you want to have your levels correct. This looks like a decent little setup though on if I can get, so where would the next, is this choppy, chop like a motherfucker. Honestly, I would say like, it's not that pretty though.
Stock market just went to lunch.
Yep. I'll watch Bitcoin above this level. If we can get Bitcoin to come up above here, I'll look for some kind of demand below. If I get a 5-minute confirmation off that, I'll look to long back up into this supply. That's kind of all I'm watching for in Bitcoin. ETH, I'm just chilling on right now. I think it's got some time to develop with it, whatever the fuck it's got going on. I think it's going to go up to these more playable ones that I like, because I don't know where, if they're the same levels, like where he's getting, but I have like the similar levels for like 1776 would be a very nice zone for Ethereum shorts. But then we've got the 1733 weekly imbalance. So there's a lot of potential reversal zones for ETH. And I think that's going to be one of the better opportunities as far as a short goes. What's Nas doing? I don't know why I watch the S&P more than Nas, but I don't know. Nas moves fire, dude. I will say though, if if the S&P starts rallying, dude, I think Nas could make a crazy run, because we're really, if it doesn't reverse here, it's going for 13K. Like
Oh,
if
for
it,
sure.
you know what I'm saying? And honestly, if you look up, then
I
we've
think
got
it's going to take
this.
out the equal highs from the weekly. If you
Is
go
it
to a
this
weekly chart,
13,550? I just got them off the.
it has equal
Oh
highs
god
right
damn!
above that
All
on
the
the
way up here,
weekly.
or up here.
Oh, no, not those. Yeah, those right there.
These.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Like, it's just because I think SPY can make a push to 430
Mm-hmm.
up to the pivot range and take out all the buy side liquidity that it has,
Yeah, right here.
and
Let's.
then finally reverse. Yeah, because it would induce so many longs. People would be like, "Oh, what recession? What pandemic? There's nothing going on. We're killing it." And then,
Literally.
yeah, good luck. So
Right.
like on the weekly, I have for the S&P, I have a 43.0350. There's some nice equal highs right there. There's an imbalance right above that with a nice big ass wick above that where my sell side liquidity started or buy side liquidity started. So like possibly like 43.70. And then on the Nasdaq, I was looking at 13,583 for the first TP on longs. And then second would be 14,296.25. There's another set of the higher one is daily and the lower one is weekly. Equal highs right there.
Yeah, I
And I
think
mean
that.
that would look really nice. If we grab the whole range, the weekly range, we're technically still in discount. So,
Yeah.
we get over a discount what at 13,171.75, which is 50% of the wick that was left back on May 2nd,
Mm-hmm.
which is a nice
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, that would sweep all the buy side too. I think if we go that high, we'll go to 13,550 just because those equal highs in the daily. But these are pretty picture perfect too. All this up here, I just marked it as a lower one. But what is DXY doing? It's just chilling.
Damn, man got a snipe entry. 12 pip stop loss. Jesus.
No, he
That
had
was
like
a
a
snipe.
freaking, oh yeah, 12 pip. Yeah, I was gonna say he
What?
had like $1 stop loss.
Yeah, what the fuck is that, bro? It's like 0.03 stop loss, like you said, $1 2.
Yep.
Like, how do I get this stop loss? What, 15-second time frame? Like, nigga,
I think he
please.
I think he used like a 1 minute IC or something. Demon
Let's
time.
see. I like reverse engineering everybody's trades.
Yeah, and just like looking, I think he did this right here. I'm pretty sure that was it right here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That was it for sure.
Yeah.
That was clean.
I traded like off a similar bias, but my stop,
Nah,
I just
it's
used
not
a
a.
stop up here. I think
It's
his was a 3 minute actually. I think he said, yeah, it was this one right here. That's what he traded off of. I'm pretty sure because I know Mang uses the 3 minute a lot. Mang's dialed with the indices.
But damn, what time did this man wake up?
I was up pretty early, dude.
He took that shit from Friday.
I think he took it. Was it this? I think it was this morning. It was like 8. Because you remember he's on my time too, so it's not. It's only
Yeah.
like 8 for us.
Because I'm looking at the chart and that entry. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, no, I see it. Yeah, it was from this morning. Yeah, I see it. I was already awake. I don't know why I didn't see this. Or maybe I did, and I'm just looking at the different chart. There's a price gap a little bit up higher.
On like the actual on SPY or on actually, what's the weekly gap on ES? Hold on, or the opening? Is there an opening weekly one?
I was looking at it, yes, it does. Yeah, on the 1 minute, it's a gap. I don't know about the weekly.
Then there wasn't. That's fucking weird. Usually there's always a gap on like the 15 minute at least. There's literally nothing. Like look at this how it hit last week. Now this is where look at this weekly gap. I think it was in the 15 minute last
Mm-hmm.
week. That right there, you can literally extend it out and like look at this shit, bro. That's when that's called that's when if you can go above that and reprice into it, and then if you look like here and you look for the same pattern, I don't know what trading view. It just wants to explode when I put it on freaking uh
Replay 1 minute.
yeah, look, if you see that, bro, you just long. Like literally and just stop loss under that because that means that it's repricing above that and it's going to seek opposing liquidity on the daily or higher time frames because like at that and look at that level you were also right pulling out to this, but just long that bitch. Just ride that shit up until you sort of see it
Mm.
reverses like but we didn't get a weekly gap on this week. Doesn't look like. Which is weird. Like super weird. It would have been like right around this area. I guess no. I mean, actually, I mean technically, you would have had because the open was right here. So maybe I'm just gonna test this too. Look at that. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess because that would have been the open right here. Would have been the gap would have been from the wick, previous wick to the open because that's where it opened. It filled it very quickly. But once it's trading above it, my charts are also delayed on this, but that's interesting. And also, I bet this opens up with the midnight candle as well. No, it doesn't. Never mind. I'm sorry. Interesting. Yeah, this shit's absorbing some supply right now. Actually, I would really look. Yeah, no, this would be where I'd look to break. That's the thing with Bitcoin, like, you'll get these liquidity rates, but it doesn't really give, like, the cleanest setups. I mean, I guess theoretically you got, you know, your break in market structure was here. You could have long, but all the fair value gaps were cleared by the time you actually got the break, except this one. It's interesting. I'll just wait for the 15-minute. Yeah, on that note, guys, I'm gonna hop off here. What I would watch for if you're trading indices is just watch for the lunch to end, and then also at 1:30, almost at 13:30. At 1:30, I would watch for something as whether it's a fair value gap on the lower time frames, you know, expansion to the upside, or we rate a low or a high. Just watch for a liquidity rate and then see what kind of price action you see from there. Overall, I think we're gonna probably end up closing this day, pushing throughout the rest of the day. Um, the only thing I would be weary of is those lows we've been talking about on. Damn, I should have been watching Nas this morning. That shit gave that. See, this is what I would wanted on S&P. See, we got all the lows we're
Yeah.
taking on.
Yep, I missed Nas this morning. I could only catch the S&P because I had that up. I thought I was hitting market sell on the S&P, but sorry, on Nas, but it was the S&P.
Yeah,
So I was like,
that
fuck it, that's what
this
I'm
one was
writing.
clean. Look at that right there.
Yep.
I gotta just start watching on both monitors, but this was the play right there. Yeah, because the risk to reward was there on this one too. You would have just longed right off the top of that. Stop loss right there. I would have taken all the way up into this zone. That would have been the move. Oh well. Yeah, guys, I will see you all
After that
tomorrow.
VG, you would have put your stop below the wick.
Yeah, just like so if I was playing this, I would watch for like the low of all these lick grades, and then some people put it right here, like under this. I don't know. I've never done it, but I've seen a lot
Wick
of
ass.
times where I would get sad if I got
Uh,
wicked like that.
yeah, that's usually where I put my stop.
I would
I'll
just do
move it now.
like right here and then like that. Just and it gives you less risk reward for sure, but it's never happened, but because I've never used it, but I watch, and maybe it's my brain like supporting why I don't do it, but I see this shit get clapped and then it runs like a lot, especially in the last like 2 weeks. I've seen it come
Mhm.
almost down to like this wick, like a pip away, and then move because that's really the protected low, so to speak. This would have already
Gotcha.
actually no, it's like 2 to 1. Yeah, I'm gonna watch both of these going into the lunch. I would target probably those equal highs, but um, I'm gonna watch both of these going into the lunch. I just have a third of my SPY position open, stops at break even. Um, hopefully get a nice little dump. That'd be make it easy for me. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, I will see you guys later. I appreciate you guys. Oh wait, let's see some of these comments.
Deuces.
Hold on, somebody said, um, What's up, Christian? Sorry, I'm just now seeing this. Adeliki says ETH going lower to fill those fair value gaps at 15,504 or 1504 or lower. I mean, like I was saying with ETH, I think I think that's kind of just if you were looking for that right now, you're kind of just looking for you're just forcing yourself to find something. I don't think there's anything to indicating that. If we're looking at the 1 hour, theoretically, it's still bullish market structure on an internal level. You know, we've got our we made it a high, came down. Seems like we're respecting this demand. So that would lead me to believe if we can respect this, you know, push back up into these areas. Also, we've got these daily areas above. I wouldn't just hawk on the chart and force a narrative on ETH. I'm waiting on Ethereum, but I think it's going to be a nice setup soon. That's kind of my 2 cents on ETH. Um, but yeah, as always, I appreciate you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow at 10:30. Peace.